Hi, welcome back to another episode of Team Chunya Coffee Talk. Today we're going to be trying something new. We actually have a few questions from our viewers who watch our episode and obviously listen to our suggestion if they have any question, concern, that they could reach out to us. So today we're joining with Antito. Hopefully he'll be able to help answer these viewers' questions. So the first, how you doing, Antito?
Oh, doing good. I hope the question I ask is why that guy's wearing such tight clothes, or why is he wearing that color? But I guess it wasn't anything like that, right?
No. It's actually like something like
I'll
you can actually answer.
Though.
Right.
Yeah.
So actually, one of the questions that our viewers were wondering is, he's from abroad and he doesn't have a social security number and he want to do business in the United States. Like what, and he heard the word of ITIN, but he's not really sure of what that terms mean. Can you explain like what is ITIN and how is he going to be able to operating or doing business in
Right. Wow, good point, Am. So actually this topic is very common, right? Because not everybody gets a social. There are people who live here who are, from various countries, who are also immigrants, and maybe they're working towards getting a social security number, right? Or who just going to be temporarily visiting or going to school, which is fine. A lot of times in an ideal world, they go to school, get the degree and go back to where they need to be, right?
Yeah.
But there's also people who choose to stay here and maybe apply for Social Security card later, or there are people who want to invest here, right? Of course, when you invest here, you're not necessarily a U.S. person or U.S. citizen or alien, so you're basically an investor, right? And so there needs to be some type of identification to deal with the taxes, right? So at the end of the day, it's all about tax reporting, tax filing, because you need to have some kind of identification. And so IRS created this ITIN, I-T-I-N, for foreign individuals who have to file taxes. And this actually happened a lot in maybe the Latino communities, folks who came here to America to work, and they don't have a Social Security number, and they have to apply for ITIN because they have to report their taxes. Some of them work and don't have a social, believe it or not. So they still have the requirement of filing their reports, income taxes, and maybe even getting refunds, right? So some ITIN are available for those type of individual who have to file for tax returns. But there are also ITINs, in this case, I think he's asking as an investor, what type of identification he needs. And of course, coming from the IRS, I deal with a lot of investors who sell real estate here. So coming from the IRS and from the tax standpoint, they want to be able to collect the taxes. If there's no ITIN, how do you verify, if they're a U.S. citizen, U.S. tax-paying person or foreign, right? Because you don't have a social, they're going to think you're foreign, right? So from the real estate standpoint, they were required to withhold, I think, 30%, in proceeds if you were to sell a house. And what happened to these guys, these investors, have to file a tax return to get that money back.
Wow.
So that's the relationship that I've been having or dealing with the last couple of years. A lot of realtor who refer me a lot of clients who are from China, Vietnam, Pakistan, India, wherever, so that we can apply for them an ITIN number. Right? And that ITIN number could help them with filing taxes, withhold the appropriate dollar amount, and then hopefully, if there's extra refund, they can get that money back. To be honest with you, there's a couple problems with this. One, the application for ITIN is very, very tedious and inefficient. In years past, you have to have the W-7 form and not a copy, an actual passport sent to the IRS in Austin, Texas, for them to process that. Okay? And even when they receive that, imagine not having your passport with you because they want to see it, they verify, they want to see the physical passport. It takes them months, and they hold on to your stuff. So that freaked a lot of people out, and so they...
I was actually about to ask, usually how long is that process? Because imagine if they have emergency, they have to go out or whatever,
or
they don't have that passport.
if they're smart, like some of our customers, they have two passports of the same, right? They have copies. I don't know, it's some foreign country. It allows them copies. But so one, they mail it to the IRS, and hopefully within 3 to 4 months, usually 3 or 4 months, they get that. Some people will file a tax return without an ITIN and apply for an ITIN with the tax returns. Yeah. So that actually would be a little easier, right? Yeah, but they have to file a tax return along with the application to get the ITIN.
It would apply to like foreign investors.
Well, but then the foreign don't really have a tax return yet,
yeah, that's
right? And so I'm relating to more of the people living here. I don't want to say illegal, but the people who work here,
right,
who have to pay taxes but doesn't have a social, right?
Okay.
So that for that part, that's tricky. I am an IRS certified agent for ITIN, so a lot of people will come to me. I will verify their applications, do the application for them, and verify their passport and other documents. And then once I certify, they can take that with them. So that's the advantage we have at this office. Is that they can apply for it without having to send the passport. But I have to see it. I have to verify. I have to make copies of it. But once it gets to Austin, it's out of my hand.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part of it, is because within the last couple of years, oh my God, COVID, yes, but just the whole system is so bureaucratic, red tape, where it's just really, really slow. And yes, I'm constantly getting calls. Hey,
why am I not surprised?
I apply it with you. I'm like, man, I certified it, but I didn't process it. It has to go to a different department. And that's the frustration part, right? And I don't charge much for it because I feel so bad, that it took so long, but it's out of my hand.
Right,
you know what I mean? And my fees are reasonable. Again, now I'm starting to realize maybe I should charge more because it's just so inefficient, right? So
and
once they get that,
nagging you about like, oh, where's my process? How's my application? How come it's taking so long?
Right. Well, and that's the thing is we don't have too many certifying agents in the area.
Yeah.
So that's one issue. The long wait time. The other issue is that once you get that, it really opened the door to a lot of things. Is that you can open a bank account here, you can set up, LLCs, you can do a lot of the business that you would think of, whether it's invest in real estate or even to start a new business, whether it's in retail or whatever, right? So it opens a lot door for a lot of people. Again, the issue is just take a long time to process from part of the IRS. They came out with some guidance recently that they're working on that. It should be a lot more efficient, but I don't know. I want to give you a heads up that even though we do it here, and I do the certifying myself, but the processing is through Austin, Texas with the IRS, and there's no guarantee if it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months. Because I have a couple of them right now that's been 3 months and it still hasn't responded back to us. But I know, we think about systems being efficient and good, especially when you're dealing with a foreign investor.
Right.
But it's not. And the sad part too is a lot of folks that sold some properties and really good money that they made, but man, a third of it goes to taxes already. So now when we filed the return, right, showing that there was withholdings on those proceeds, the issue was when they filed it, there was no tax ID. They never applied for it, or they applied for it, but it wasn't approved. So the IRS sees the tax return with the ITIN. We said, hey, they took out 30%. Let's just say 100,000. They took out 30,000. We want our tax is only 20,000. We reserve 10,000 back. They cannot reconcile what was withheld by title and escrow, right? Because those guys have to withhold the tax, send it to the IRS. You would think when you file the return, IRS sees that and rebate you back.
Right.
This is not a typical tax withholding like a W-2s or any other tax form. This is foreign tax withholdings. And so often the case, IRS tax return, report, refund, but then they sent a letter back said, nope, we have no record of us taking any taxes out from you because title and escrow, when they did the paperwork over there on their end,
they didn't do it on their end.
They didn't have an ITIN to associate that withholding with. They have named properties, right? And that the fact that these people are foreign investors, they have to take out the taxes. So my suggestion, get the ITIN ASAP. If you're going to invest in anything, real estate, business, whatever, get an ITIN first.
So in order to get an ITIN, as you mentioned, how to apply is basically like, the process is like...
Well, I don't want to say come see me. I want to say...
That's a good idea, even though you can certify.
I would say Google it. There's embassies in your various country that you can actually inquire with. Like, I think there's some certified agent in those respective countries that can certify your passport and identification and do the paperwork for you. If they're here in Sacramento, we can help them with it. But like I said, it's not my most enjoyable thing to do. One, it's not hard. It's just 4 or 5 pages of paperwork.
Yeah.
But the fact that
process.
once it's out of my hand, I don't have any control. And
Right.
the client base that I deal with, sometimes they have unrealistic expectations, right?
Yeah.
They have money, they have investments, and they have taxes taken out, and they want that thing done ASAP.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to tell them, like, man, I literally spent hours on the phone waiting to get
Yeah.
through to the IRS. Number one, number two, I don't have any control over the processing paperwork.
Yeah. So on that note, pretty much, if you want to invest over here, definitely got to get an ITIN and start the process as soon as possible. Obviously, it's not going to be quick. Give yourself probably 4 to 6 months to be on a safe side, buffer side.
Right.
Because if you're reaching out to Antito to help with that process, please don't rush him because he's going to have a lot of process and he has to wait. Again, he mentioned that it's out of his hand, at a point after he verified your passport, right? And he already did his part, right? Now it's just a waiting game, if you're starting the process.
Yeah, and the hard part is when you rush, right? It's
Yeah.
maybe a 5-step process, and you do the step 5 first, meaning you sell the property without even proper ITIN. Now you're asking the IRS agent to go and do
Right.
the tax return and then try to get your money back. Well, there's a disconnect.
That would have
there.
been more delay, right? Because they have to.
Right, because they couldn't, and I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to escrow and title. Their job is to do the withholding, because anytime you see the foreign investor, they don't want to be liable for any miscommunication or any inappropriate procedures that they're not following, right? And so they have by law, the law says you got to take taxes out, withheld somehow. Then I'm not even sure if they fill out the right form, right? That's the sad part, because that's not their area of expertise.
Right.
Their job is to sell the property, withhold the appropriate tax, report that to the proper entity, IRS or Frontier Tax Board.
Yeah.
Problem is that there's no social ITIN to verify
To
with.
associate with,
Yeah. So
on that end, it's kind of it's much better for you to ensure that you are good to go in investing over here by getting an ITIN first before you start.
And if you don't,
investing,
know what it is and how to apply for it, reach out to us. We'll help. Again, you can always Google it. Try to look for what they call a certifying agent. W7 is the form. Okay.
Wow, that's really good to know. Actually, we have another question. It's similar, but this time it's more of people over here. They're receiving financial gifts, and a lot of people are wondering. Are those gifts taxable, or how is that going to affect them at the end of their tax filing?
No, that's a great question. I think the issue has always been give and give tax, right? Everybody's always like, my goodness, do I pay taxes on the gift that I receive?
Right.
Is it a donor or the donee that gets taxed? Right?
Yeah.
And now you throw in the curveball. What if the gift comes from a foreign country or foreign person or foreign estate? Let me take a step back and say, okay, normally from a standpoint of give and give tax, 16,000 is an annual exclusion, right? That means if it's 60,000 or less, and you gave it to somebody, you don't have to pay taxes as a donor. The recipient doesn't have to worry about taxes. It's always the donor.
Donor is the people giving.
Exactly.
Donee is the people
recipient.
receiving.
Right.
Okay.
So 16 or less, don't worry about it. It's not taxable. And 16 from mom, 16 from dad, 32,000 a year, free gift from mom and dad, right?
Wait, so each person could give 16 each,
Exactly.
even if they're filing taxes as a married couple?
Exactly.
Ooh, okay. Good to
Your
know.
mom got 16, dad got 16.
No, but that's good to know because I always
assume.
assume it was if you're filing together, it's only for one.
No. Each
Okay.
person is entitled to do that.
Okay.
But let's just say mom gave 17 and dad gave 17. Right? 'Cause they read it wrong or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean the extra 1,000 is taxable to dad and the extra 1,000 is taxable to mom? The answer is no. That means you have to consider what they call an annual exclusion and a lifetime exclusion.
Oh.
The lifetime exclusion this year has been raised to 11.7 million.
Annual?
No, lifetime.
Sorry,
Annual
sorry.
is 16. And what
Okay.
that means is that for the lifetime of a donor, right?
Oh.
Most you can give to anybody without being taxed is 11.7 million.
Wow.
Some of us got money out there that can give 12 million or so. Okay?
Wow.
But how do we know? How does the IRS know within their lifetime that you donated that much?
Yeah.
Well, back to your example of mom and dad giving 17,000 each.
Right.
Well, to $2,000, each person give 1,000 each has to be reported on a tax gift form. Informational only, not taxable, informational. So the 709 is a tax form.
Just letting
that it
them
will fill
know.
out that, hey, I gave an extra $1,000. You know, I gave 16,000 excluded, but the $1,000 I gave goes towards my $11.7 million limit. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
So you report that to the IRS so they can track that, okay, this year they gave each person an extra $1,000.
Yeah.
Right? So that goes towards your $11.7 million exclusion.
So then they're only tracking the extra amount, but not really the allowable amount.
Right. However, remember, there are people out there that says, I don't have to file, it's just a give.
Yeah.
That's wrong. Right? So again, it's informational, right? They're not
okay.
taxing you it's because of the lifetime exclusion that you qualify for. But how do they track?
Yeah.
You got to report. Right?
Of
And
the
so-
extra.
Yes,
the extra
ma'am.
amount.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But the point being is that just because it's not taxable and we think it's so small, it's just like, man, if it's required, file the form. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Give yourself peace of mind.
Yeah.
If you don't know,
Before you
Google
get
it.
red
What's the
flag.
annual exclusion? What's the lifetime exclusion?
Yeah.
So now to this question that was brought up about the foreign tax, the foreign give, that's a different issue, okay? And I think a lot of the time is that people worry when they take money out from the bank, they see a big deposit amount, you know, the bank has to do their due diligence, right? CTR, CT transaction receipt, or suspicion transaction in my old days at the bank, right? These are the things that we have to fill out to
Right.
be compliant, you know. So anything 10,000 or more, the bank has to report, right? And some people might feel like, man, I'm only putting 9,900 in there. Right, but the bank, if they feel that it's suspicious, they will fill out a STR report. Okay,
Yeah.
so regardless, their bank has their own compliance requirements. From a tax standpoint, it's different because when
Yeah.
they see a lot of money go into a bank, they start thinking, does this guy have a business on the side?
Right.
This guy moving money from drug selling? You know what I mean? Like, you can
They
think of a
question
million
about
things,
it.
right? And some folks are very careful about that, and they will inquire and learn.
Yeah.
Other people just ignore, right?
Yeah.
But this gift hack it's been so prevalent lately is because a lot of people are selling their properties
Yeah.
from I don't know, an estate from family, whatever, and family send money over,
Right.
hey, help, for you to buy your own home or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
it's considered a gift. So there needs to be a gift form to be filed as well. It's not a 709, it's not a regular form, it's actually a 3520. Okay, a 3520 form that require a taxpayer here, U.S. taxpaying person, to report that they receive
A
the
certain
amount is
of
actually,
money.
yeah, exactly. So $100,000 from an individual, from an estate, okay, going to you, you got to report $100,000. If it's $16,649 from an estate or corporation, right? Okay, then you have to report.
So then for this one, not only the donor has to report, right? But also the
Recipient. Well,
the
remember the
donee.
donor, and I meant again. Let me take a step back.
Yeah.
$100,000 from an individual or an individual estate.
Mm-hmm.
$16,649 is from a corporation or a partnership. Okay,
Oh.
corporation or partnership, foreign corporation from a foreign partnership.
Yeah.
You gotta report that because they want to know, hey, where this
Where's the
money
money
coming from,
from?
and there's a paper trail.
Yeah.
So that is the responsibility of the recipient. Okay? Because remember, IRS is like, man, you start doing something on the side.
Yeah.
Right? Where's this money coming from? Right? So if it's less than 100,000 on an individual level, individual estate, they're not requiring you to fill out the form. But if it's 100,000 or more from that one individual, you got to report.
Yeah.
60,649 from a partnership or corporation, you got to report.
Wow.
Okay. I got a letter from some guy who saw us last year. Right. The IRS penalized him $25,000 for not filling out the 3520 form.
He was receiving some gifts. Wow.
Right.
See?
Of course, they don't tell us all the stories.
Yeah.
But he just saw a letter that was assessment, and he wants us to deal with IRS for him. The sad part is he worked for the government, so I was like, man, I don't want to deal with any drama and any issue related to
Right.
taxes. And I'm like, how the heck did they charge you
Yeah.
$25K? Well, the penalty for not filling out the form is 25% of the amount of the give. So apparently,
So
it
he
was
got
about-
100,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
This
So-
is what happened. Thank you for our viewers for asking this question because imagine
Maybe
there's
that was
going to be a
coming from
lot.
him. I don't know. To be honest, the case is still pending. I haven't gotten it resolved. A lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
If it's an accountant that did that, you can kind of blame the accountant, but he did it himself not filing it. Honestly, we went back to the abatement and
Right.
IRS giving us a reason, a benefit of the doubt. I'm pretty sure they can accommodate. They just wanted you to learn that, hey, report this.
Yeah,
right?
next time, don't repeat
don't do it
it.
a couple of times.
Right.
But it's just the hard part is getting a hold of them.
Yeah.
Getting a hold of the right department. Again, going back to the whole ITIN, I can't just call the practitioner line and get somebody to resolve that issue, right? Or I can't just call a practitioner line and get this whole abatement for not filling out the 3520 form.
Right.
It's like a totally different department that you have to deal with. But to be short and to be specific, if you're not sure, call, ask.
Yeah,
I received a bunch of
exactly.
money from family and friends and relatives from China, Vietnam, India, Pakistan, wherever. What do I do? And
Right.
I'll be more than happy to break it down for you.
Yeah. Wow, that's really valuable information, and because I've never known about this, and thank you for our viewers for asking these questions for this episode.
Right.
Thank you, Antito, for joining us today.
Thank you,
Do you have
Em.
anything else you want to add before
No.
we end this episode?
Well, I'm glad out of the 100 questions they asked, only 2 of them are related to taxes. So if they ask any more than that, I don't think we have time to answer
Next
it
time
all.
they were like, "What's your diet like? Or
Yeah,
what's your workout routine?"
It's a tighter jacket just because COVID has been good for some of us in terms of dieting.
Well, thank you, Antito, again for joining us, and thank you, our viewers, for joining us on another episode of Team Junya Coffee Talk. And like always, if you have any question or concern, or if you have any suggestion for our next topic, please visit our website, oursalonmoms.com. Fill out a questionnaire if you have any question, and we look forward to addressing your question or any suggestion next episode. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.